Now to get that padding so that's on the inside edge instead of on the outside edge here, you want to take your curve and turn it inside out. It looks a lot more difficult than it really is, I promise. So you've got that curve done, and then you just line up and fix your edges just like you did when you first folded it up, and then shake it out and double check it. Your padding should be on the inner edge, and you can see I no longer have the tag at the seam here. The tag is on the inside. So now I'm putting that padding there because that's going to go underneath where baby's legs come out, and that's going to put some padding underneath the knee to prevent any red marks from happening. Now if you happen to have an unpadded sling, there's really no big issue with that. I never found that I really had a big problem with it. I just know a lot of people feel more comfortable having the padding there. So if it's unpadded, it doesn't mean that you cannot. It just means, you may want to watch and see if baby's legs seem irritated or anything when you're done with the hip carry, that sort of thing. Once again, I do one shoulder for front carries, one shoulder for side and back carrying. As baby gets bigger, it just depends on how I'm carrying, but I always use this arm to carry baby in, so it's the most comfortable for me, so I'm switching shoulders now. Just arm through the hole, head through the hole, and because I'm going to show, well, I'll show tummy to tummy first, so I still want to have this seam out in the front to begin here. Now this little guy, he has pants issues. This little guy right here is my bigger demo, my big demo doll. He's much bigger, he's much heavier, his head doesn't flop quite as much. He's got longer limbs, and he is wearing 18-month Carter's clothes, so if that gives a general idea for sizing here. Now, for the tummy-to-tummy carry as baby gets bigger or doesn't want legs inside anymore, this is how you want to do that. You want to start with baby, put them up on the shoulder that your carrier is not on. So I've got baby up here. They usually think that this is hilarious. Anyway, you reach from the bottom and bring your arm all the way through and get baby's feet. You want to get baby's feet in. I like to get baby's legs wide already before I even sit them down or open up the sling, and then it makes it a little bit easier. So I start this up. Baby's still up on my shoulder, and I'm making sure that this padding is going into where baby's knees are. And then once I've got that figured out, and I get baby bounced down in. And he, just fixing my shoulder here. So he's inside, and this carrier is, the padding is up in his knees. Now, to make sure that baby is in the carrier properly, what you want to do is be sure, when you're first doing this the first few times, till you get a feel for it, you want to check in a mirror to see that baby's knees are at the same level or higher than the baby's butt. If the baby is dangling by their butt, more like this, that's going to create a hazard. It's going to put a pressure point in a place that isn't a natural fold for the skin to be. And it also creates a risk where if baby wiggles too much, the carrier could actually slide up and catch baby by the shoulders. So you want to be very sure that baby is sitting and not just dangling. So that's something to double check, and you can always reach underneath to where baby's knees are and check there. Now to get baby out of the tummy-to-tummy kind of carry. Oh, real quick, I'll just show too. If baby is tired and bigger, you can still get this around the back of the head usually. He's a little bit funny in here today because he's been around, but with my son I was able to get this around his real head and help hold his head there, just so I didn't have to hold his head while I was walking around and he was asleep. But to get baby out when their legs are coming through, I find it's a lot easier, especially as they get big and are wearing the big clunky shoes, to get them up on your shoulder and then lift the carrier up and around and let them lower down. Just be careful not to get their head caught by the carrier there. So there's the general idea for tummy to tummy. Now for hip carrying, because I want to have the seam where the bulk of baby is, I shift this off to the side. Just grab it by the shoulder and shift it a little bit so that this seam is closer to nipple area or a little bit past. It just depends on where you carry baby. Do you carry baby way off to the side? Probably a little bit more off to the front here. So just try to aim that, and if it looks a little bit funny the first time that you do it, just shift it the next time you put it on. So once again, I've got this off to the side, and then making sure that this is nice and wide on my back. I can feel it's folding a little bit here. But once again, take baby for a hip carry, and you put them up on your shoulder. You reach through, grab the feet, hold them down. I like to get the legs wide and spread. The carrier up and around to make sure that this is where the knees should be, and bounce baby down in. Now this carrier fits nice and snug for me, so baby's not really leaning back all that much. I'll show real quick with another one. But so this is, if the carrier fits on the snug side, this is how baby should sit in there. If this is riding up on your shoulder, it's not going to be real comfortable. You may need to work that down so that once again, that's in the middle of your shoulder. So baby's in there, and say you're at the cashier and you're trying to get something written out or signed for your card or your check or whatever, and baby won't stop grabbing for the pen because they love the pens and they want to play with them and chew on them, but they won't stop grabbing, and you've got to do what you need to do. Now an easy thing, a really nice thing with the pouch style carrier is that you can lift your arm up over the front, put your hand on this side of baby, and grab your shoulder up here. Now just do a quick little bounce, and baby will hop around to the back edge of your hip. Now baby's still on your hip, just on the back edge, and you can finish signing and doing whatever you need to do. You can leave baby there if you want, or you can reach your hand back around to the other side and do the same thing in reverse, just hop baby back and forth. Really nice thing with this style is because there are no rings that'll get in the way or anything. Once again, to get baby out when they're in a hip carry, pop up onto your shoulder, lift this up and around baby's back, and lower baby down. And pop them out that way. So that is the general idea with that one. Now if you happen to have a carrier that's just a little bit bigger, like this one here, you take your curve, turn it inside out. Pop that on. We'll get baby in. Open that up. Make sure it's on the knees. Slide baby down. Now if baby's leaning back a little bit further, like this little guy seems to be leaning away, the easiest thing to do is what we like to call a shoulder flip. And now if you try to just grab this fabric and pull it away, you're pulling on baby. What I tend to find is a lot easier is to lift baby up so that they're kind of on your chest, leaning towards you. And then you've got a lot more slack here. You can lift that down, and you want to cap your shoulder. You want to make sure that it's a nice full cap, not just a barely over your shoulder cap. That'll be a lot more comfortable for you. So something like this brings that edge of the fabric a lot closer to you and holds baby closer to you if they're leaning back away from you. So that is the basic idea as far as, you can do that same thing if they're in a hip carry too, or in the back carry by the way. And hop baby back if baby's leaning away from you. Just do that same thing again. You can't really lift baby up quite as much, but you can still cap it so that they're not leaning away from you, which is real nice. So anyway, that is the basic idea for the pouch style carriers. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through the website, and I will try to get back to you as best as I can. This is basic information for most pouch style carriers, but it is intended for the Annabear Babyware brand. This is specific to this carrier. If you have a different carrier, I would suggest getting in touch with the manufacturer or a vendor through whom you purchased that and see if they have some options for troubleshooting that for you, because mine may not be exactly like yours. Anyway, I hope you have a great afternoon, and we wish you the best.